Hello and welcome back to On to the Next Thing. I'm your host, Michael, and this is episode 14, I believe. Lucky 14. Today's date is August 1st, 2025. And I got going to be a pretty short episode, I think. I don't have too much to talk about, mostly stuff about some movies that I've been watching lately. But first, we're going to get into some bird news. Bird news. Oh yeah. All right, let me go through all my fucking messed up tabs here on my phone. Okay. Start off with some interesting bird news, I guess. This is from the science section of As News, I guess. Okay. The bird that can kill a crocodile breaks the laws of nature and dominates the swamps. The bird, which is capable of killing members of its own species, well, that's not a big stretch, it's fucking birds, is highly threatened by human activity. This is by Claudia Sanchez and Joe Brennan. The shoebill, also known as the whalebill, is a high-speed solitary predator. It preys on fish, amphibians, snakes, and even young crocodiles, thanks to its remarkable ability to remain hidden. However, its powerful beak has contributed to the decline of other species in its habitat, highlighting the intense struggle for survival in the wetlands it calls home. Scientifically known as Balaeniceps rex, this shoebill is native to the swamps and wetlands of Rwanda, Uganda, Zambia, and South Sudan. Fewer than 5,000 individuals remain in the wild, though some can be found in captivity in European zoos. Institutions such as the Pyrie Deza in Belgium have made efforts to understand and meet the species' specific needs. The bird's most distinctive feature is its large shoe-shaped beak, which provides deadly precision and makes it a formidable hunter. It's also a giant among birds, standing about 1.2 meters tall and boasting a wingspan of up to 2.3 meters. Shoebills typically lay their first clutches in late summer. From an early age, the chicks face intense competition. Since the parents cannot provide enough food for multiple offspring, the young birds must fight for survival. Only the strongest chick survives, a brutal outcome driven by the scarcity of resources in the African wetlands. Well, yeah, now. It probably wasn't that fucking rare to have resources for these birds, 600 years ago or whatever. But I digress. As Explora notes, I don't know, like Dora? I don't know what the fuck that means. In addition to being ruthless with the animals it hunts, this relative of the stork learns early on to become a predator to ensure survival. Those that can survive these early challenges can live up to 35 years in the wild and as long as 50 years in captivity. Yet despite its fierce nature and fearsome appearance, the shoebill is increasingly vulnerable to human activity. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, has classified the species as vulnerable due to pollution, habitat destruction, and illegal trade, factors that continue to threaten its already declining population. Get your game on. Whether you're in NFL touchdowns, NBA buzzer beaters, world-class soccer goals, or MLB home runs, our app has okay, fuck off. I'm not downloading the As app. Now, you might notice that this is hardly really even news. This is mostly just a little expose, probably written by like AI, about this bird. But the reason why I bring this up is because this is the bird that comes up on the YouTube videos if you watch this through YouTube, which is the only way to watch this. It's the bird that comes up for bird news. It's the bird news bird, the shoebill. And it's essentially the mascot of bird news and kind of the vice mascot of On to the Next Thing behind the nondescript wetlands and, of course, the burr. But, yeah, the shoebill, it's a pretty cool bird. I actually didn't really know that it was this rare, but that was why I chose that article. It gives you a little bit of background on a piece of On to the Next Thing lore. All right, here's a bit of sadder bird news. Bird Alliance of Oregon vandalized birds released prematurely in Portland break-in. This is from Katu2, ABC, by Bobby Corser and Shelby Slaughter. Holy shit. This is from today. Shut up, cat. What the fuck? Shut up. Portland, Oregon. The Bird Alliance of Oregon's Wildlife Care Center was broken into and vandalized early Thursday morning, resulting in harm to both wildlife patients and property. A suspect was captured on camera shortly after midnight, and the Bird Alliance is working with the Portland Police Department and the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife to locate the person. The intruder forced entry into two outdoor enclosures housing 9 birds. Hey, by the way, sorry, quick digression again. I just got an ad for something called a DigiKey, which is a tech parts distributor. And I had recently ordered something online from them, and now it's putting ads on my fucking BIRDNEWS articles. So that sucks. Just wanted to let you know. Kat, I swear to God, if you fucking knock over my work laptop and drink my old fashioned, I will fucking obliterate you. Obliterate you, I will. Wow, I didn't taste test that yet. That is fucking strong. Holy shit. We gotta end this episode as soon as possible. The intruder forced entry into 2 outdoor enclosures. Fuzz, I swear to fuck. Alright. The intruder forced entry into 2 outdoor enclosures housing 9 birds. The Alliance say they believe these birds, 1 American crow, 3 northern flickers, and 5 American kestrels, were prematurely released before completing their recovery. Evidence suggests at least 1 American kestrel was killed, likely by a predator, as a feather pile was discovered at the base of a nearby tree. That fucking sucks. Imagine you get, like, I mean, obviously this isn't like a place that birds should actually be freed from. This is like a sanctuary place where they're rehabilitating birds, so they should not be being released. But imagine you're like, holy shit, I'm getting out. There's the fucking sky. And then you're like, oh fuck, my wing doesn't work. And then like a badger or something comes in and fucking eats your head. That sucks. In addition to the damage to the enclosures, supplies such as gloves, masks, and kennels were disturbed and scattered. The affected birds came from various circumstances, including a baby crow that fell from its nest after a storm, a flicker with spinal trauma from a window collision, and an orphaned baby kestrel. The birds have been under care for periods ranging from 18 to 58 days, and none were ready for release at the time of the break-in. This is a deeply disturbing and serious incident, said Travis Coons, Wildlife Care Center Director. Someone unlawfully entered our rehabilitation facility and interfered with the medical care of protected wild animals, actions that may constitute violations of both state and federal wildlife laws, including the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. That's the old one. I've talked about it before. It's the one that protects like everything, like seagulls and shit. These birds were in our care recovering from injuries, he continued, and their unauthorized release is not only a tragic disruption of their treatment, but likely harmful to the individuals who had not been deemed ready to return to the wild. We are cooperating fully with law enforcement and wildlife authorities and are taking every step to ensure this does not happen again. Coons also noted that none of the birds are endangered but are considered federally protected. The Bird Alliance of Oregon has released footage of the suspect captured on security cameras. Anyone with information about the individual or the break-ins is urged to contact the police immediately. It's heartbreaking. It's awful. It's very violating, Coons says. Wildlife Care Center is the busiest wildlife rehabilitation hospital in the region, treating between 4,000 and 5,000 native wildlife each year. Okay. I'd love to see a picture of the suspect that they think they have. But I guess there's too many ads, so... Oh, view all 13 photos. I want to see if there's any possibility that I know what this guy looks like. Okay, stop. Jesus, can I fucking please get... Let me just swipe. Yeah, they just went and they got... Oh, that's a ad. Great. Do they have a picture of the suspect? They have a picture of the birds. Ad. Picture of bird, scattered shit, feathers. They have a picture of the suspect? Okay, what's going on with the suspect? Is there a guy? I don't even see it. Oh, fuck. Never mind. Alright. Well, I didn't get a good picture. I didn't get a good look at the guy, so I guess I won't necessarily be able to help with this investigation in any meaningful way. But you know what? That's all right. Screw it. That doesn't. It's cool. It's whatever. Anyway, so that was bird news. Fucking cat, please. Sit down. Chill. Can you just be chill? Can you just be chill, please? Okay, you're making it difficult to face into the microphone. God damn it. Alright, let's get into some media recommendations. TV shows. Been watching The Sopranos. Everyone knows that show is good. It's just one that I've been watching recently. I'm going to try and burn through it. Not as quick as I can because I want to actually enjoy it. But, I mean, it's not like I'm watching it at 2 times speed anyway. So, yeah, it's fine. I don't even know why I said that. Also, I've been watching a little bit of the spin-off of The Amazing World of Gumball, known as the wonderful wacky world of Gumball or something like that. And it's that cartoon that was started in the late 2000s, and has kind of a cult following among Gen Z and some immature millennials from that period of time. And yeah, pretty. It's a fun little show. It's for kids, but it's got a pretty wide age range of audience who might enjoy it. So I gotta recommend that one too. So yeah, Sopranos and Sopranos in the wonderful fucking world of Gumball. Wonderful, wonderful wild world, wonderful wacky world. Whatever. It's not the amazing world. It's the spinoff that's on streaming. Anyway, what else I got? Music. I was just gonna look up music. Music. All right. Something I figured out about this microphone is that it works just fine when I'm facing directly towards it, but it doesn't really pick up a lot of noise if I'm checking the monitor or anything like that. Of course, recently, tragically, the late great Ozzy Osbourne died of surprisingly natural causes recently. So definitely listening to some Black Sabbath and some of his other songs, which I haven't. Black Sabbath being the band, not one of the songs, although that is also one of the songs, so suck it. But yeah, I hadn't really listened to a lot of Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne for a long time. That was some stuff that I listened to when I was like a kid and like a teenager, because it was always, Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, they get a ton of play on rock radio, and that was the stuff I used to listen to with my dad. So yeah, kind of overplayed by the time I was a teenager, but I still listened to some for a while. But honestly, I up until like now, I hadn't really listened to a lot of any of his music for a long time. But obviously, with his death comes all of the influencers and media outlets coming out of the woodwork to be like, wow, look at how amazing he was. He did this and this and this and this. And so it's kind of helped me like realize just how many hit songs that Ozzy Osbourne and by extension Black Sabbath had over the years. It's crazy. I was listening to the song, everyone is listening to the song Changes because it's kind of sad, but it's funny. I hadn't really listened to that song much before, but I feel like I knew it, but I didn't know that it was Black Sabbath. And yeah, honestly, Ozzy Osbourne, obviously not that underrated. He's one of the most successful musical vocalists of all time. But as far as his technical ability, he's kind of underrated as like a rock and blues singer. Especially a lot of his earlier work from Black Sabbath was a lot of just wailing, just bluesy British wailing, and he was very good at that, and still is like a pretty good singer even into his later years. He had to drop he had to drop like an octave or like half a or like drop to a lower key or whatever during live shows in his later years, but always a very solid singer, even if even if he wasn't always like the brains or like the musical chops behind a lot of his songs, but he knew how to kind of like he had a good ear for like putting talent together, and he knew what he liked in his songs, and he helped write a little bit, but overall just a great performer. He's a guy who just obviously really liked to perform. Some people talk shit and say that Sharon Osbourne like really milked him for money afterwards by like forcing him to perform. But honestly, what the fuck else was he gonna do? Like, what did he want? I mean, maybe if he wanted to go into acting or something. But like, if all he was gonna do is sit around the mansion and drink beer and then forget the beer and remember that clip where he's like, "Who took my beer? Someone came into my room and took my beer." Like, if he was just doing that the whole time, then yeah, I'd tell him like, "Hey, why don't you go on a tour, or why don't you go and headline this concert or something like that?" I'd 100%. Yeah, no reason to not do that, especially if he can still sing and still be up there on stage. But yeah, the legendary artist gets some shit sometimes for occasionally being like a legit bad person, but a lot of that comes down to him, his issues with addiction and things like that. He did sort of try to kill Sharon one time, but it's fine. She forgave him. She did a reality show with him. Then I don't know, milked him for concert money or something. So I don't know. It's not exactly even, but like I don't know. I guess it worked out in the end. And as far as rock stars with substance abuse issues and lots of health problems and like 2 fucking motorcycle crashes or whatever, he's he lived pretty well and didn't die too bad, which is about all you can hope for anyone of that level of talent. What else do we got here? I've been listening to, of course, I've been listening to one of my favorite artists, Chris Cornell. I was listening to a little bit of his solo stuff earlier on in the week. He had a lot of solo albums that were kind of underrated at times, but there's some good stuff on there. Euphoria Morning was his first one. There's this song from his last solo album called Our Time in the Universe, which I think is pretty cool. Also, I've been listening to, still some Worm Rot, added more of that to my workout playlist. There's also a band called Hell, just straight up called Hell, that it's a pretty cool, like, doom metal band. You have to be pretty fucking heavy in order to be allowed to name your band Hell. And these guys fit the fucking bill, to be honest. Yeah. Some other stuff. Orchid is a pretty good band. They're like metal. Duster. Duster is one. They're a indie band, or I guess yeah. They're like an alternative kind of like slowcore, sad rock type of band. They have a lot of good songs. A pretty healthy following to them. I have some other stuff on here, but that's pretty good for for this week anyway. Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Chris Cornell, Hell. Black Moth Super Rainbow. Actually, I do want to mention them. They're it's one of those bands that's kind of like Tame Impala, where it's technically like one guy doing most of the like musical direction, but there's sort of a band as well, but they incorporate a lot of like electronica and a little bit of real rock instrumentation, but the lead vocalist he puts a lot of effects on his vocals, which it's very haunting and weird, but kind of beautiful in a way. It's usually a lot of just kind of like, if you could think of just sort of like, maybe occasionally it goes into like kind of like goth, industrial, slow dancey type of stuff. But usually it's just kind of like chill, slow, electronic pop type of thing. Sometimes with some other instruments mixed in. But yeah, they're pretty cool. I listen to their stuff from time to time. I have a lot of their songs mixed into some of my playlists here and there. So that's music, and now it's time to get into movies. And I only really watched one. Oh no, I also watched Superman. So I guess I can do a quick recommendation for Superman. If you have the money, go see it. It's good. James Gunn makes a good Superman, who's basically just like the ideal version of what Superman should be, just like a good guy. His flaw is basically that he's kind of like almost overly good and overly naive in a way. Kind of like a himbo type of thing, but people like himbos, so it's cool. But yeah, good movie, pretty uplifting. A little bit overly, I mean, not even optimistic, because it's not set in our world, but it's in a world where you're like, damn, wow, I guess journalism and public exposure of evil doing actually makes a difference, Not at all like our world. But yeah, cool movie overall. I'd recommend it. But I also watched the film Death of a Unicorn, starring Jenna Ortega. Um, Once again, this is another case of Jenna Ortega. How old is she? I keep saying she's like 28. I don't think she's actually 28. If she is, that's fucking crazy. Let me just look that up for a second. Okay. Once again, sorry, I'm gonna have to probably boost the previous audio because this microphone is a piece of shit. Oh, she's 22. Oh shit, she's younger than me. Fuck. God damn it. Shit. Fuck me. God damn it. I thought she was older than me. No, never mind. I'm old. But yeah, alright. She's 22. She's playing like... I guess she's playing within her age range here. She's technically playing like an 18 or 19-year-old like college freshman in Death of a Unicorn. But she kind of acts like a 14-year-old, which is like kind of strange. Like I don't know. I guess I did meet some, when I was in college, I definitely met some college freshmen who kind of just acted like they were still just entering high school. And, we're just wearing just like hoodies and shit and just being like, like just kind of weird and like whiny and sulky and stuff. But I guess I shouldn't really say sulky because technically in her backstory is that, she's going with her dad to this business trip that she doesn't want to go in. She's basically just being used as like a prop because her mom died. And so her dad wants like an emotional family element to be brought to this meeting with his big boss, like this fucking billionaire CEO piece of shit. But on the way, they run over a strange creature that, as it turns out, has many interesting properties that the greedy fucking CEO family really wants to take advantage of, while they have the chance. It's kind of like a careful what you wish for and don't mess with nature type of thing. But overall, I had kind of thought that this was like. This is kind of like, it's a creature feature, basically, right? A creature feature is like, usually like a horror or sci-fi or, fantasy horror type of movie where it's the main crux of the story is a creature coming in and killing and or eating people or like assimilating them or, it's usually like when it's a creature feature, it's usually just like a big dumb animal monster coming in and eating people and shit like that. And in this case, of course, as you might imagine from the title, it's fucking unicorns. But, yeah, like, it's something that I've been frustrated with for a long time. But there just hasn't been a good creature feature in probably, like, 20 fucking years. At least. And that's really only, to me, as far as basically my knowledge of creature features, that's only if you count Lake Placid as a good creature feature. And even then, that's almost 30 years old, right? I gotta check that. But like Lake Placid, yeah, 1999. Fuck yeah, it's over 25 years ago. That was like that's literally the last good creature feature that. At the very least that I've dealt with. Like, you could try and make a case where it's like, Jurassic Park 3 doesn't count. Okay, those are like, I mean, I guess even if the Jurassic Park movies count, Jurassic Park 3 isn't as good as Lake Placid. I liked Lake Placid better than Jurassic Park 3. And then, like, I don't know, what else did you have? Fucking 10,000 BC, where it was like caveman drama. Or, like aliens don't really count. Like, that's not a thing. I mean, like the Predator or Prey, like that Predator movie, that's not a creature feature because it's an intelligent alien going out and trying to hunt and kill people, right? But, yeah, like a creature feature, big dumb monster, kills people. What was it, The Shape of Water or something like that? Where it was, Guillermo del Toro, The Shape of Water, right? That was the one with the fish man. That's sort of a creature feature, but it's also sort of like a romance. It's like creature feature where it's just, big monster, big monster creature eating campers or, tourists or whatever. And that's kind of supposed to be like they've had a lot of shark movies lately. Like you had like 47 Meters Down or like Shark Night. Shark movies apparently never fucking die. But those aren't even like, they still aren't really good, It's always some other bullshit. They had one recently, it was called like, I don't know, is that one that was like Australian guy feeding woman to sharks or something? And it's like, okay, but I don't know. I feel like Lake Placid was the last one where it was like, yeah, we're putting some effort into making the creature look cool. And we're just going to have it go on a rampage and be there, and people are going to try and kill it, but they might not be able to kill it. Holy shit. But they're going to have to try. Oh, fuck. Oh, Betty White's feeding it. R.I.P. Betty White. Oh, damn. That movie was fucking awesome. I need to rewatch that movie again. I watched it when I was a kid, and it was like, it was great from the get-go. As soon as I heard the main scientist lady say, you call someone a fuck shit, that was awesome. Like, I love that movie. I gotta watch it again. But the main idea here, like, the last two creature features, I guess, that I watched that were, like, recent, were Death of a Unicorn and, I guess, Cocaine Bear. And, I guess, I don't know, Troll Hunters, that was one, but that one was, like, European, and it was about trolls, so it was, like, kind of mythical creatures, I guess. But, I mean, it's kind of a creature feature, I suppose. I haven't seen Troll Hunter, but I don't think that Troll Hunters, or the Troll Hunter, or Troll Hunter, or whatever the fuck it's called, I don't think that's better than Lake Placid. But it certainly isn't better than Lake Placid. Fucking Cocaine Bear. It's like, I was going into that, I didn't really think it was going to be like a classic creature feature where you're supposed to take it kind of seriously, or where the characters are taking it seriously, and so it's just like a schlock fest. Like, I knew it was supposed to be kind of a comedy, but it ended up not being like that funny either. And I was like, shit, come on, man. Like, it was supposed to be, the director was supposed to be a pretty good director, and like it had some interesting, like, kind of new faces, like new actors in it, and a couple of older actors, and it just wasn't, it was just surprisingly underwhelming. The jokes, like, they were fine to me, but a lot of times they kind of played weird. Like, I felt like at times I was the only one laughing, and I have a low threshold for laughing now. I used to not laugh all that much because I didn't really think all that many ththings were funny. It usually had to be like both clever and like, or like just loud and ridiculous and like bombastic, and just have just an absurd situation would get me going, whereas just a chain reaction of events. Now it's like, if I recognize a joke, I'll give it a little chuckle as a sign of respect, okay? Because it's like, yeah, I get it. You made a joke. That was a good bit. I get that reference, blah, blah, blah. But it's like they had some of those in Cocaine Bear, but a lot of it is just like, just weird dialogue and just kind of like, kind of like tired tropes that they're like parodying, I guess. And, but it just, it didn't have a good feel to it. It was just kind of like a bizarre, it just felt fucking bizarre as shit. And it never felt like it was going to be, it always felt like it was building up to something crazier, but there was just kind of like one or two scenes where it was like, oh fuck, this shit's going crazy, and then it just kind of like falls flat and slow, and there's these fucking kids involved, and it's like, the kids are kind of funny. I like child actors who are like, sort of take the role seriously and are like, maybe have like little weird dialogue moments and like are part of the comedy. Like, that's always kind of funny to me. But I mean, overall, it ended up being kind of like boring and kind of underwhelming, even as a creature feature. Like, there was some gore, but it's like, it wasn't like, it was like over the top at times, but then at other times it's just like, okay, yep, this is standard. It's a CGI bear. You can tell it's a CGI bear. They're not using puppets and shit. It doesn't really look all that interesting. It's just like, you know, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff that you could get in like a short film, basically. But you know, they spent like they spent like $10 million on making the bear move right, you know. But yeah, overall that was kind of underwhelming. Death of a Unicorn was also underwhelming because it ran to the same problem where it's like they spend all this budget on the creature, and they kind of like show it early, and then it gets slow and boring again. And so even if they're continuously showing the creature, they aren't really building up the tension anymore. Like, we already know what's at stake. We already know like the shit that can happen. We already know the stakes. It's like, oh, you can be mauled, you can be dismembered. It's the same in Cocaine Bear and in Death of a Unicorn. The difference is that Death of a Unicorn isn't even as clever as Cocaine Bear. Like, once again, it's kind of fine. It's like it's a classic, like, rich people are greedy pieces of shit, and the arrogance of science and greed. And it's like, damn, these scientists didn't fucking do anything. They're just doing a job, you know. I may or may not know what it's like to be a fucking scientist in the private sector. It fucking sucks dick, okay? Leave those private sector scientists alone. Not everybody can be working on the fucking moon landing or on cholera vaccines. Sometimes you're just there to like develop new medicines, and you work for a company that ends up being kind of pieces of shit. But it's like you're just trying to make something, or make a new, like, test reagent or something like that. And you're just trying to get through your day, and then maybe you'll go back to school or something at some point. But it's like, fuck, leave the poor scientists out of it. But it's one of those things where it's a combined, like, yeah, the scientists are also wrong. The scientists are in the same caliber of evil as the evil CEOs, and so they all get fucking murdered. It's like, shit. Damn, don't go into fucking science, kids. Just I don't know, fucking sit at home, become a cashier, or I don't know, I guess go into agriculture now, because that's what we're doing, I suppose. Go work in the mines. Go mine fucking cobalt and shit for Tesla engines. Like, I don't even know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that it's that classic storyline trope where it's like, yep, evil CEO, I guess evil by proxy scientists. Sort of a little bit of class solidarity, except it's not really class solidarity, because it's just Jenna Ortega is the student, and she's she's the only one who could even be close to being in the working class, and she's still not, because she's a student, and her dad is, a upper middle class businessman who's trying to get into the upper executive levels, and works for like $1 billion pharmaceutical company. So it's like not really class solidarity, and the scientists are probably the closest to having class solidarity, but once again, they're the fucking private scientists on call to this CEO. So I think if they're private pharmaceutical researchers, you can make some pretty decent money. So yeah, not really a class solidarity movie, just kind of stupid rich people dabbling into things that they don't understand, the arrogance of man type of thing. But a lot of it is just boring. A lot of it is just Jenna Ortega looking at a tapestry and then having no chemistry with the only other character who's even close to her own age, which is that, like, it's that other fucking rat-faced dude. It's that dude who always looks like he's like 20 years old or something like that. Let me look him up here. Hang on. Death of a Unicorn. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. What's that cast? Show me that cast. Will Poulter, right? Will Poulter. He's that guy. He has that kind of ratty face, but he always looks really young. And so it's like, I think he's supposed to be like 30 or something. He's supposed to be like a 30-year-old piece of shit fail son, who's still just living in the mansion and just has a million like crypto ideas and shit. And then it's like, oh, Jenna Ortega is like the daughter of the other guy. And it's like, you kind of thought there was going to be some sort of chemistry there for there to be a betrayal, but no, he's just a piece of shit who isn't interested in the only other person his own age who's female. Although I guess I'm assuming that he's straight, His character may have been gay and then that was cut out or something like that, or asexual or something. But it just seemed kind of weird because he was literally just walking around the house drinking, has free reign, and then like it just has nothing to do. It's just totally like disrespectful and just like snarky towards Jenna Ortega. And it's like, wow, like literally, dude, do you really just love your parents that much? Where it's like a person sort of your age comes into the house and you don't even want to like talk to them or even like find them interesting. He gives her like 3 sentences of dialogue and she talks about this fucking tapestry that's, supposedly unlocks the mystery of the unicorns or whatever. And then he goes like, fuck, that's boring. I guess I don't care at all. Bye. I'm going to go work on other bullshit. And it's like, damn, like there's no character interaction other than like the dad slowly becoming like disillusioned with the CEO guy, but he already doesn't like him. It's already just his fucking boss. So there's like the only character development is him admitting to his daughter that he was wrong and he's being a stupid piece of shit. And it's like, yeah, of course you're being a stupid piece of shit. You killed that unicorn and then you brought it to your fucking boss like some sort of weird fucking toady lackey scab pussy. Like, yeah, of course. Of course you're wrong, idiot. Fuck you. You fucking suck. It's like, yeah, no one has any character development. They're just fodder for the fucking unicorns, which it's kind of cool look of the unicorns. They look all fucking ragged and fucked up, and they're huge, and they're just huge big ass horses with horns and teeth, and they're just fucking tearing people up and shit. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but it's like, it's kind of a weird mixture of like, yeah, I kind of want all these characters to just die and get it over with, and then like, oh, it looks like, and then it's like, oh, maybe this character kind of seems like they're about to have some character development, or like they're gonna try, or they're gonna like help another character, see through the veneer of capitalism or something like that. But it's like it doesn't happen. Like nothing happens except that like after almost everybody's dead, the dad is like, "This is a bad idea. I'm sorry, Jenna. I shouldn't have done this. Your mother would have hated it. After your mother died, I told her that I promised I would make us rich." And it's like, okay, weird promise, but that's fine. It's whatever. I know I'm spoiling the shit out of this movie, but I really don't like. I was really disappointed with it. It really just like it really just hammers home the fact that there's no respect put into making movies anymore, at least not in the mainstream studios. Some indie studios are. I mean, even A24 is becoming kind of mainstream. They're just becoming like, oh, we're the wonky, quirky mainstream. We got fucked up shit in our movies. Wow. And I think this was maybe an A24 as well. Like that might have actually been an A24 movie. Quick research. Time to see. Bing, bing. Oh, Jenna Ortega was one of the producers. Shit. That's I guess not that rough start. Oh, the dad was Paul Rudd. I knew that. I'm not stupid. I know that. Leyline Entertainment. Yeah, okay. Oh, distributed by A24. So it's A24 distributed. But yeah, rare A24 kind of stinker because it's like, it could have been a more original, interesting idea, but instead they just went like a basic creature feature route, but without any of the tension building that's required when you have a limited budget and a limited amount of equipment. Like there's no like very minimal tension, just kind of like boredom and unlikable characters, and it's like, yeah. I know, you want to make the characters unlikable so they can be fucking unicorn fodder later, all right? Obviously. But, you got to give some stakes here other than like, I sure hope Jenna Ortega doesn't die. It's like, what movie is there where you wish that Jenna Ortega would die? Jenna Ortega looks like a baby deer. You never want her to die in anything. It's like, obviously she's the one you don't want to die. But is there anyone else you don't want to die? Maybe her dad. But her dad's a dick. Her dad's a douchebag for 80% of the movie. Like, there's no... It's like, oh, I guess I hope that everyone dies but Jenna Ortega. But that would be really boring because then it would just be, oh, Jenna Ortega, who knew what to do the whole time, saves the day the whole time. And so it's like they have a little bit of a twist where there's like maybe some, it doesn't really matter what the twist is, but yeah, the point, it just ended up being, is just kind of boring and predictable. And it wasn't really that much more interesting than, certainly not more interesting than most other horror movies I've been watching recently. Like even the fucking twist on ghost stories, like Talk to Me. Like shit like that is scary, and it has fucked up shit in it and cool visuals and stuff that looks kind of real, that doesn't just look like it was made with a computer software for too much fucking money. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It was like a creature feature, but just made using like the same fucking Disney, Marvel, Star Wars level of hack computer animated bullshit. Because I don't know. I've been saying the point of a creature feature is like, yeah, the creature, but it's also like there's a certain level of respect that's involved in making those movies, where it's like they have a limited budget. They don't just have like, oh, just give us whatever amount of money we need to make a 3D computer model of this monster. And it's like, no, like the old ones, it's like, obviously maybe they would have wanted an unlimited budgets and computer animation capabilities. But god damn it, they had to actually kind of write a story that had like, rising tension, and like you have to have the characters do something, right? Like not every creature feature is good. In fact, most are shit. But like in most of the older ones, you have to have the characters kind of doing something. At least in Cocaine Bear, there's kind of like interaction between the characters, building relationships, that sort of thing. You had kind of interesting, bizarre reactions from characters. And that movie was still boring and kind of underwhelming. But Death of a Unicorn was fucking boring, underwhelming, and the characters were boring and underwhelming. Like, it's like, oh no, the spoiled son is actually even really evil. And it's like, yeah, sure, okay, great. We know he's a greedy piece of shit. His parents are greedy pieces of shit. And it's like, yeah, no, none of the actors really blew me away. I heard someone in a like just some comment somewhere on Reddit or something saying Jenna Ortega really stole the show in that movie. And it's like, did she? She kind of just plays like inquisitive, shy teenager who hates her dad and is like doesn't really want to be part of this, and is kind of like loosely posh counterculture type of thing. And it's like, yeah, okay, she just played like a stereotypical role for someone who looks like Jenna Ortega. Except I guess the crazy thing is that she's actually 22 years old and a producer on it, but she still chose to play an 18-year-old that acts like a 13-year-old. And it's like, okay, cool. Just it's annoying. It's annoying, and I'm sad that the two major mainstream creature features, which, by the way, no one's making independent creature features anymore, because number one, the audience for it isn't that big, and two, the fucking big studios already have that, where it's like that they have Godzilla, they have the rights to all of the big monsters. Actually, you know what? There is one. I'm sorry, I've been meaning to talk about it. I believe literally it's called The Monster. I gotta make sure here. The Monster. Yeah. 2016, The Monster. That's the actual last good creature feature that I saw. And even that one was kind of more metaphorical for like something. I feel like it was more of a metaphor for like the relationship between like a mother and daughter or something like that. But at least it was a cool monster. It kept it in the shadows, so it's like you don't have to expose how fucking cartoonish and goofy your creature looks. Which is like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Cocaine Bear, it's a fucking computerized bear with cocaine on its nose. Death of a Unicorn, It's literally just a unicorn, but it's like its parents are bigger and badder and have teeth. Sorry, I spoiled that for you, but if you knew anything about the movie, you knew there was some other fucking shit involved there where it's like another unicorn. And it has teeth because you see the teeth in the trailer. But I'm sorry if you wanted to go into Death of a Unicorn blind, I really do apologize. I'm sorry that you're on that weird overlap of people who would ever listen to this show and then also want to go and see Death of a Unicorn without knowing anything about it. Except the title, which already gives away half the movie. Whatever. Yeah, The Monster. That was the last one that I saw that was like legitimately a creature feature and legitimately interesting and cool. Very minimal cast, minimal story, but you get an idea of the relationships between the characters. There's stakes that feel real because you don't automatically hate the characters all the way. Like they're grading like any characters in any horror movie because people who are in distress are fucking annoying. It's true. It's true. That's part of what makes horror movie characters easy to watch die because it's like, oh man, these people are fucking annoying. They're screaming all the time. Shut up and die. Like, yeah, well, at least that's how I watch horror movies. But yeah, this one, it had a good balance. It got kind of mixed reviews. A lot of people said it was slow, but like you're supposed to have kind of a slow burn. And it made a creature feature something that's like kind of what the old ones were, like the classics, like Jaws. Like freaking yeah, even Lake Placid, Alligator, which is one I talked about last time. Alligator, Creature from the Black Lagoon. If you're gonna go even older, shit that's just kind of a slow burn, and because of that, you have to have the people talking. There has to be more story than just like the creature is there, or oh no, killed the creature and now the parents want revenge. It's like that's what fucking Grizzly was. Grizzly already did that, except that was a bear, so it wasn't unicorns. You didn't have to have this like. I guess that's the other element they had in Death of a Unicorn, that the unicorns have magical medical properties, and it just happens to be on the estate of a fucking pharmaceutical company CEO. And it's like, damn, how did they not find that already? If it's common enough to get hit on the fucking road, whatever, doesn't matter. Those sort of logical inconsistencies don't matter in a movie. You gotta have suspension of disbelief. But I'm just saying, it's like it's a tired trope, and I would have thought that, I would have thought they had done more. Apparently, Jenna Ortega is pretty knowledgeable about film and film history, but she just keeps making out. She keeps producing and contributing to just the most bland, like tired bullshit movies. And like just going into just tropes where it's like, oh yes, being goth. And it's just like, yep, just lean into being goth. Like the last kind of like bucking the trend role she had was literally in freaking X when she was like, I don't know, what, 18 or 19. And since then she's just been like, she's been Wednesday Addams, and she's been in like, in some other things. She's done like some other Scream Queen stuff. But it's like, I don't know, a lot of her roles recently have been a little bit bland, and it's like, yeah, I just hope she makes enough money from stuff like this where she can eventually just kind of make the movies that she would actually want to make. Like, I hope she goes into like direction or something. If she actually does have a really good eye for film, then I hope she just kind of goes into that, because so far the producing role has helped produce some kind of lackluster movies lately, or at least Death of a Unicorn was lackluster. I don't actually remember what her last movie before that was, but yeah. The point is, it's just like, yeah, creature features. I feel like there's a lot of types of genre film that just aren't really made with any sort of respect or with any sort of care anymore, and that's just kind of indicative of the current Hollywood scene, where it's literally just sell at all costs, put all your eggs into one basket, try and make it a franchise, Just work on like 2 freaking movies a year, and just make those giant movies your fucking bread and butter, and then anything else can just be made for peanuts on streaming, and it can be shit. Like Happy Gilmore 2, I mean that was a sequel, but even a lot of the originals are kind of garbo. There was that one with John Cena that was kind of funny, where he plays like a weird like alcoholic con man. He's like pretends to be like their fucking, I don't even remember, like their cousin or something, or no, their friend. Their imaginary friend. I forget what the name of that movie is though. I'd have to look it up later. There's that one. There's some little gems like that, but on streaming, but they're all like kind of like low budget. So it's all just got to be just like low budget stuff that's subsidized by the streaming services, or just like giant movies that put fucking drooling mobs into the seats. And yeah, and that's it. That's what the modern film industry, at least in the United States, is like. I just can't. I can't fathom it, because I'm like, once again, I'm not that old, so it's like I have to go looking for like older older movies, and there's like so many classics that I haven't seen. But every time I see a classic, or even just like kind of like a well-made B movie, like freaking Alligator, or like there was one I watched a while ago that was some Spanish film, and it was about the fucking zombie skeleton ghosts of the Knights Templar going and killing people really, really slowly, because they move really slow because they're skeleton puppets. And even shit like that is like, it's more interesting than just like the cookie cutter schlock characters, and just like kind of just like vapid spectacle of a lot of modern films lately, to the point where even like at least fun to me type of genre tropes like the creature feature get fucking caught up in the slop, and it's just not that good. Anyway, that's my rant. I could probably do a bigger rant on the general state of the movie industry another time, but once again, I needed to make this one kind of short. My voice is getting tired. It's been a long ass week. Still need to kind of work on guests, or we're working on some we're having some staffing issues over here, and on to the next thing, but we're gonna get through it, and we're gonna kick ass and take names and talk some more shit about whatever topics you want. If you have some topics that you want me to look into and either complain about or praise, or even just discuss in a balanced and nuanced manner, make sure you leave a comment on the video. Make sure you hit up the podcast on Blue Sky and on Mastodon, and on Instagram. Should be at OTNT podcast for most of those. And yeah, once again, working on maybe spreading out into some other shittier, larger scale social media. Might get me out there a little bit more, but then again, at some point probably someone's just going to steal some of my audio and then put it on TikTok anyway, and not source me. But then eventually maybe someone will actually source me. Or maybe this is garbage and no one will listen to it, and no one will even fucking clip it on TikTok. Either way, make sure to watch this video on YouTube, and eventually when it's on the RSS feed, go and listen to it wherever you get your fucking podcasts. Okay? Yeah, this has been the On to the Next Thing podcast. I'll talk to you later. Signing off. Goodbye.